a particularly cloudy day in October of 2014, I sat down in my school library with my ham sandwich, chocolate milk, and a stomach full of butterflies. It was my first meeting on the Basalt Middle School Student Council. I turned to the girl sitting next to me and said, "I'm so psyched to finally be on student council." And confused, she just looks at me and asks, "Why?" And I took a second and I said, "Because of all the cool stuff we're going to plan this year." And she looks at me again and says, "Oh, come on, we're all just here so we can eventually get onto the high school student council to put on our college applications." That kind of threw me off for a second. Why would someone do something that they didn't want to purely for the purpose of saying that they did it? It happened more and more as I got older. "Oh, this is going to be the most boring seminar in the history of mankind, but it'll look great on my Harvard application. I can finally put 3 soccer clubs on my resume." It wasn't always that blatant, but it was there. And the naive 7th grader that I was, I began to panic. I hadn't been keeping track of my community service hours. I didn't know my GPA. I was doomed. But why? Why is the application becoming so much more competitive and so much more relevant to how we live our lives? The short answer is that there are more students and the same number of spots in many colleges. Since 2000, there's been a 33% rise in college students in the US. However, over that same time span, some colleges, Ivy League and private schools in particular, accept about the same number of students, with their opening enrollments barely fluctuating. But if you look at public universities, they have actually overcompensated that 33%, giving them really high admission rates. As the number of students rises, the divide widens between the colleges accepting these additional students with open arms and the colleges that choose to stay more selective. So the average applicant often assumes that the school with the lowest admission rate is the right school for them, and that their life will depend on getting into said exclusive university. But even if that were the case, you can't just apply to one school anymore. With the application more competitive than ever, you have to have a match school and a safety school, and at the end of the day, you might find yourself doing upwards of 10 applications. So you go through the onslaught of applications, racking up extracurriculars, athletic achievements, foreign language experience, all so that it might just give you a leg up over the next applicant. But as any Gen Zer will tell you, it isn't just in high school. In middle school or even elementary school, we joined club sports, we volunteered for nonprofits, we took up instruments, athletics, philanthropy, music. These are defining endeavors of humanity. Unfortunately, they're becoming nothing more than defining endeavors of the college application process. Being on a team or an event that you're genuinely excited for suddenly becomes a lot less exciting when someone says, "Oh, this will look so great on an application." It somehow degrades the moment to nothing more than a check on a long list of potential bragging points. It's an easy mindset to fall into. You're planning for your future. But if you're not careful, you can find yourself doing things not out of the genuine desire to enjoy them, but rather out of the desire to say you did them. And guess what? While the best place for you might be Harvard or your state college, it might be going straight into your dream job, foregoing college, a degree you might not necessarily need per your chosen lifestyle. I personally plan on attending college, but in the meantime, I'm going to live my life. Take today, for example. Woke up in a log cabin in the middle of the woods, international club sleepover, and I walked back to my dorm, hung out with my roommate for a little while, showered, and then I went to a panel it was a Q&A panel for prospective Andover students. And then after that, I went to lunch, then my JV hockey game, and actually showed up here late. That was fun. But no college cares about any of those. JV sports, a sleepover, it's not important to any college, but it's important to me. So I'm not naysaying college, or extracurriculars, or athletics, or music. I'm saying that you should partake in them for the right reasons. Learn for the sake of learning, give for the sake of giving, and run for the sake of running, not for the sake of your final destination. Because, to bring it back to numbers, the average life expectancy in America is about 79 years old. With a 4-year degree, you'll graduate college at 22. And if you make those 22 years miserable for yourself, you've just wasted a solid 27.8% of your life. So don't let your college apps confine you to that 72.2% of living. Thank you.